Maybe the biggest storyline of the entire cycle nationally was Dylan Raiola's recruitment, a wild one that ended yesterday when he inked with the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And today in this video, we got Sean Callahan on the show to break down Nebraska's big wins in 2024 and also the potential of maybe adding Jordan Seaton. We'll see what happens. Nebraska fans, do me a favor before we get started. Hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. You guys are awesome. It's been a fun cycle. We want you to be a part of the 2025 cycle as well. Hit subscribe for me, please. All right, let's bring on Sean Callahan. And Sean, what was one of the more surprising trends that you saw with Nebraska this cycle?
Well, obviously the quarterback thing was the big story, but I think when you look at the final numbers, they did take 5 players out of Florida, 3 on signing day alone from Miami, kind of capped off the day. And back in the summer, it looked like they were going to push up to 8 or more from Texas. Well, it ended up being a tie between the number of signees Nebraska took from Texas and Florida, and some of it's the staff makeup. They've got a former Miami head high school football coach on their staff, not as a full-time assistant, but more of a operation and analyst type role, Phil Simpson. And I think having him there and some of the other connections they have on staff, it helped them get kind of a nice push of recruits from that Miami-Dade County area.
So you mentioned it. The big story of the cycle was Dylan Raiola. And I'm still kind of in shock over the fact that Nebraska went in late into Buford, Georgia, Buford High School, and flipped a Georgia commitment from the defending back-to-back national champs. I mean, what sort of statement was made by Matt Rhule in that scenario?
Yeah, I don't think anybody could have predicted this even a week or so, 2 weeks ago. So to have it play out, because Dylan Raiola has been a household name in this state since his freshman year of high school, ever since he earned his offer, but it just never happened for whatever reason. Obviously, a lot of it had to do with where Nebraska was at as a program, but there was something about this place for Dylan Raiola that is special to him. It's special to his family. His uncle's the offensive line coach. And I just think all of those factors kind of led to what happened. And let's be honest, I think the opportunity to win the job here, which is probably not on the table right now at Georgia with Carson Beck returning, I think that too was a pretty big piece. And, there's a new world of NIL, and right. Nebraska can be very aggressive in that area as well. So, NIL, you would think that Georgia's, the Alabamas, and these teams are going to pay the most money. They don't have to pay the most money. I think we're seeing teams like Missouri and Ole Miss and Nebraska, teams that you might not expect, being more aggressive with some of their NIL moves than anybody else in the country.
Yeah, and Dylan Raiola already inking an NIL deal with Panini Trading Cards. That was announced by the great Pete Nakos later in the evening. So Dylan Raiola already racking up the NIL deals. I'm sure that'll just be the first of many to come. But Sean, we're going to have all offseason to talk Dylan Raiola. Who do you think, though, outside of Raiola, who has the most upside in Nebraska's 2024 class?
Well, I think one of the more surprised guys was Keelan Smith. And you look at what Keelan Smith did as a senior. He's the son of the former great NFL player Neil Smith, who also played for Nebraska. But Keelan Smith had 74 catches for 1,268 yards and 17 touchdowns. He was named the Missouri High School Football Player of the Year. So I think Keelan Smith is definitely a guy that you would have to really label as one of the real surprise players here in the class.
So what's next for Nebraska? Do they hit the high school level in January, or do they use some of these scholarships in the portal?
They're real limited. I think everybody's in the same boat. With COVID, we've probably got 2 more full years of trying to squeeze in this 6-year player into a 5-year model of college football. And so Nebraska's numbers are really tight. I could see them maybe trying to add 1, maybe 2 more guys over the course of the next few months. But I really do think the month of January is all about 2025 and even getting a start on 2026. You go out, you see as many people as you can, you identify them, and then you get them back on campus, hopefully by March and April. And then they make kids make their decisions by June. So to me, January will be all about 2025 now and trying to get as many lines out there as possible to see how many of those players then will come back and visit your campus in the late spring.
All right. I teased it at the top. Jordan Seaton, 5-star offensive tackle, #1 offensive tackle in America, did not sign with Colorado yesterday. He goes on a Instagram Live with Hayes Fawcett of On 3 and says he doesn't give up too many details about who's involved, but he did say that Dylan Raiola was in his DMs trying to get him to Nebraska. Is this late push something that's legit? Does Nebraska have a chance to double back on Jordan Seaton?
It just doesn't seem likely, because they had a great shot at Brandon Baker as well.
Yeah.
And I do think the NIL price tag for a guy like that is going to be high. And I get paying that kind of money for a Dylan Raiola, but I don't know if Matt Rhule, would be looking for something like that right now. And who knows what Jordan Seaton's ultimate game is. Is he trying to kind of drive his market up? But Dylan Raiola is going to be aggressive for Nebraska. He is going to try to lead the charge. Wingo was another guy that, I think he attempted to, but it's just too late. I mean, the one negative about the Dylan Raiola commit is you wish it would have came earlier for Nebraska, because there might have been an opportunity to bring more with Dylan Raiola to Nebraska. There just really wasn't time the way it played out the week of signing day.
All right. Well, a very exciting signing day. You guys did a great job covering it all at Husker Online. Sean Callahan, appreciate you coming by and kind of reviewing everything on the Inside Scoop.
All right, Josh. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On 3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.